Hey everyone, welcome to sportsbookreview.com. I'm Flash and it's Premier League show and it's week 3. We're starting to be able to give a little bit more confidence after seeing these teams play. Man City, they rolled up to Wolves and they score 3 and get themselves off. What about Liverpool? Liverpool look like they're up for the Championship defence and they really look good, and Alcantara going in there. We'll speak a little bit more about that, but first of all, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, press the button, ring the bell, and we'll notify you. You'll never miss any content again. We'll do the hard work. You just got to turn up and press a button. Also, if you press the link in the description, that will take you over to the articles that I'm sure Martin, Tan, and Alex and Dave are all worked hard for you. Remember, you're our third guest. Get it in there. You gave us some great tips last week. Barca man, Harry Doherty, and Anisha. No, you didn't give us any great tips, but we love the banter anyway. Let's hope you're in the chat because Palace going to Old Trafford and winning 3-1. I really enjoyed that game, even though I didn't actually play it. Now we got Martin Green and Matt Lawrence with me. Gentlemen, I hope you had a good weekend. Martin, I'll come to you first. Arsenal scraped through. Liverpool looked very good at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, so I had Liverpool to beat Chelsea, and all the Chelsea fans in the chat were calling me a hater, saying I've just got a vendetta against Chelsea. That's not the case at all. They just Liverpool looked like the superior team. Still not convinced by Chelsea's defence, especially with Thiago Silva out injured and or not fit yet to play. It was a very comprehensive victory for Liverpool. Well done to them. They're looking sharp. I think Thiago Alcantara is a great signing. It's good for them to freshen things up a bit, bringing Diogo Jota in. They didn't buy anyone last summer, but now they've got a few new faces in there. Competition for places is strong again. I'm actually thinking they can go on and possibly defend the title now. Certainly going to give Man City a good run for their money, but I think they could be the favourites now.
Yeah, well, Barca man's already in the chat. He had a few good winners last week. I always go back and have a read because obviously I do the timestamps and I have a look at all your comments. Listen, you just bear with us. And by the way, if you don't follow us on Twitter, you must follow us at SBR Sports Picks, because after 7 minutes of the Chelsea-Liverpool game, I did put out a live play, which was Liverpool to win. Chelsea were too passive. They stood off, and you could see that Liverpool were up for it at plus 105. I know many people cashed there. I'm very unlucky with the Alex Classic with the missed penalty. There was tears in the Lawrence household, Matt.
There was, I know that Jorginho is, a penalty specialist and whatnot, but I think that you give that to Werner. His Chelsea career is just getting kick-started. Let the guy, score a goal and get his career off to a nice start there. But yeah, that was hard done there. But I think that was a great live play by you, Flash. I mean, I talked about it last week. Brighton dominated Chelsea in week 1. In the possession stats, really, and Liverpool did the same. Thiago made a difference. I love the Thiago YouTube image that we've got going for this week. I'm so pumped to have him in the lineup for Liverpool.
Oh, he's scary good. I mean, he was my man of the match in the Champions League final. I've been a fan of his for so long. He's one of them players, almost like Gilberto used to be for Arsenal. They had all the piano players, but the piano carrier was Gilberto in the Invincibles. And he was scary. And I think that Alcantara or Thiago, wherever you want to call him. Now, I must say that before we go on, let's have a little search party in the chat, please, because we're looking for Anisha. He was coming out with the big guns last week. He brought a spud gun to a proper gunfight. And no, you can't be doing that. You've got to be coming fully loaded if you're going to fire at me. Thought Man United would keep a clean sheet. Not only did they not keep a clean sheet, they let him free and did not actually pick up a point. It's 3-1 to Palace. Beware, Palace. They are one of them sides you cannot trust. Now, let's have a look at the records. I had a bit of a dodgy week last week in the Premier League. Elsewhere was decent, but we're going to have a decent look now. So Martin, 11 units, 5 wins, 5 losses, and up 1.6, which is not bad after 2 weeks. Matt, 5, 1 win, 4 losses, minus 260. Bit unlucky there because you did get your parlay in at plus 140. 9.5 units for myself, 4 wins, 5 losses, minus 180. Team parlay, well, that was Everton just to win, and Arsenal and over 1.5 goals. That came in at plus 175. And our total is just 1 unit, 1.1 unit down. Now, I think we'll really fancy our chances this week. We're going to start with you, Martin. And what a tough old game to start, because on paper, you'd think Man United will go down to the South Coast and get 3 points. But can you trust Man United? It's Brighton plus 400, the draw plus 275, and Man United, a little trappy price of minus 125.
No, I can't trust Man United at all, I'm afraid. They were looking terrific after the January transfer window when they brought in Bruno Fernandes, lifted the spirits of all his teammates. They were playing some great attacking football. But that was a really abject performance against Crystal Palace last weekend. The fans have already turned on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer again. It's getting a bit nasty on Twitter. They definitely want Ed Woodward out once more. They need a result badly. But I was very impressed with Brighton last weekend. Tariq Lamptey was playing like a man possessed. I know he came off injured. But they look really good throughout. They're playing much better football under Graham Potter nowadays. That's why I didn't want to oppose them against Newcastle, and glad I didn't, because they put in a terrific shift. It's never an easy place to go, the Amex, with the defenders that they've got, Brighton, even without the fans there. I think this is a really tricky game for Man United, and I think leave it well alone. I mean, you could go for Brighton with a plus handicap, but you never quite know what you're going to get from Man United. Could be a reaction, could put in a few goals, but it could be another long old afternoon from them. So I would say avoid this one.
Okay, just before we go to Matt, just for Cool Boy Noodles, yes, in our selections, we went for Everton and under 4.5, and that was obviously a loss. But if you carried on watching, right away at the end, we put 2 teams forward for a parlay, and we went straight Everton win and Arsenal to win and over 1.5 goals. So instead of coming out again, they like to bring a flick knife to a gunfight, these boys. Get your facts right, because I will be sitting here waiting for you. Okay, Cool Boy? And by the way, your next post, it begins with S and ends in Ori. Okay? Matt, fancy Brighton or Man United or the draw?
So I think that the line does kind of indicate a little bit of a trappy line here, but I am going to dip my toes into this trap, and I'll tell you why. Because Brighton, they have really struggled against the top 4, just in general. 8 losses in their last 9 versus the top 4. Goal differential there, 26-5. Basuma is out. He was red carded in the last match. He will not feature. So that's going to really struggle. He's the protector of the back 4. United lose 3-1 in embarrassing fashion, I know, against Palace. So glad we all passed on that game. That was something to stay clear from. But this time, I'm expecting a bounce-back performance, and I'm expecting a better lineup out of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm expecting Wan-Bissaka to come back into the team. I'm expecting Greenwood to start at the right wing like he did last season. That is my angle here. I found it at minus 122 or 1.82 on United straight win. I think that Brighton's top 4 woes continue.
Yeah, the big problem I've got is that I think both teams can score here. So you may even go with the Alex Classic. Do you trust Man United? Yeah, they're like flat track bullies. And last year it was such a tight game until obviously Man United scored and they got the second really quickly. But the big thing with Brighton is they are playing, they're changing their DNA all the time. Listen, Basuma was absolutely outstanding, as was Lamptey, and Morpay getting a hat-trick. And yeah, for me, he wasn't even man of the match. So, yeah, Brighton are dangerous. Got to leave this game well alone. But I definitely think both teams will score. Let's move on to another trappy old game, because do you go with Crystal Palace at plus 280, draw plus 240, or the red-hot Everton at plus 110? Matt, Everton last week, all right, they played against 10 men, but scoring 5. James Rodriguez was absolutely sizzling again. But then Palace go to Old Trafford and they put on a 10-star performance.
Yeah, no, it's for me here. It's Everton or pass, because I still don't believe in Palace. I know that they've picked up 6 points and they beat Southampton and United, 2 teams that I'm fairly high on this season. But this is a better Everton side than we've seen in many, many years, I think. And Everton have dominated this fixture actually against Palace. They have not been beat by Palace in at least 6. I know that I checked back the last 6. They have not been beaten. They've had some draws in there. They won 3-1 last season in the last matchup between the two. It's Everton plus 110 for me, or nothing really.
Yeah, I mean, and there's the big problem that lies ahead of all of us. And the same in the chat. I mean, Cool Boy Noodles is saying, listen, don't complicate it, just go with Everton. But that's what goes wrong, because you start thinking that Everton are better than they are. And that's when you get shot in the foot. And the other big thing is, this could be an unders game, Martin.
Yeah, it's a very difficult one to call. I'm not expecting an unders game, to be honest, based on what I saw at Goodison Park last weekend. Everton look quality going forwards. I thought they might have a bit more steel about them this season, but they also look pretty weak at the back. West Brom, they were down to 10 men, but they still scored twice. They could have had a couple more. They looked threatening throughout. So it was a very, very open game. I think we could see another pretty interesting one here. Crystal Palace will have the wind in their sails a bit from that 3-1 victory at Old Trafford. They're looking pretty sharp at the moment. They'll probably run out of steam sooner or later, but Zaha, the transfer window's still open, so Zaha's trying to do what he can to engineer a move away, put himself in the shop window. I think they're being linked with a couple of players like Brewster, so you can imagine that Jordan Ayew wants to put in a good shift. I think they can trouble this Everton defence. I'm still not convinced by Everton at the back. I think they'll be much better this season, but I still think they'll leak goals and don't rate the keeper at all. So I'm going for both teams to score in this one, and I've got odds of -105.
-105, both teams to score. It looks like, you can see it being a 1-1 draw. The problem here is that when we delve a little bit deeper, how often do Palace and Everton both win 3 on the trot? It's just, they are them teams that, Palace flying, come back from Old Trafford and put in an absolute dullard performance. And then you look at Everton's on the back of scoring 5, keeping a clean sheet away at Spurs. They just look... Listen, leave it. Pass for me, but you're going with both teams to score, Martin, and obviously we'll be cheering you on -105. Now, West Brom +800, draw +425, Chelsea -250. I'm going to come to you first, Martin. It's Chelsea all the way for me. These are the games. Listen, they were flat track bullies for me. They crawled over and had their belly tickled last week. I know they went down to 10 men, but prior to that, they just they looked like they were scared. They started all passive and defensive. And I think it'll be the opposite. I really do. I think that Chelsea run out comfortable winners.
This is a great opportunity for Chelsea to get a morale-boosting win. It's been a terrible start to the season for West Brom. Lost 3-0 to Leicester at home. Thrashed by Everton last time out. They've conceded 8 goals in 2 games. And I know they looked a little bit better at the start of the Everton game, but they were ultimately overrun. Kieran Gibbs was suspended, so he'll be out. The manager was sent off, so there'll be no Slaven Bilic in the dugout. I think it's going to be a really long old season, really difficult season for West Brom, and Chelsea are the sort of team that could easily put several goals past them. They were unlucky against Liverpool last time out. Lots of attacking options, real competition for places in the side. I also can see a very comfortable Chelsea win in this game. That's why I'm going for... Well, it's not amazing odds, but I've got -161 on Chelsea to beat West Brom and over 1.5 goals.
Yeah, I think, listen, Noodles is bang on the money as well. He's gone Chelsea and over 1.5. But I've come up with, I think I've got great value in this game, and I've gone Chelsea half-time, full-time at +100, Matt. And I think that Werner, anytime goal scorer, I think he gets off the mark this week.
Yeah, no, that's what I actually have written down. Chelsea halftime, full time. I found that right now at DraftKings here, it's +110. I'm just kind of waiting for Chelsea to gel a little bit, though. That's my only concern here. I think that they're fantastic to include in a parlay. I think that they win this by 2 clear goals. I think the overs are in play, really, because I think that Chelsea put up 3. Over 2.75 is -120. I'm going to consider putting them in a parlay. I just haven't locked in anything yet, but I do like Chelsea this week.
Yeah, I have put them in a parlay. It won't be official because I haven't got enough room on the graphic, because I've done a 7 or 8 team parlay across all the European leagues. But we will need 2 to put forward. I think Chelsea are definitely going to be up there. Now, this is remember what I say about this game, because this is Burnley +250, draw +240, and Southampton at +130. Matt, how are Southampton at +130 away at Burnley?
I'm not sure, really. This is one of those that is just, it's so far away from me. I'm passing the match. Burnley, I backed them last week against Leicester. That was a really poor selection. That was one of the selections I think that I would take back thus far this season. Didn't get the lineup I was looking for. No Tarkowski, Brady, Goodmanson. Those guys are out, and that's a problem here. Southampton, they've looked poor as well. I think that both teams would probably be somewhat excited to come away with 1 point here. Draw plus 225 is my only lean. It's a clear pass.
Yeah, listen, the thing is with Southampton, they're playing this high line, which has just never been known before, because the one thing that they haven't got in central areas at the back is pace. It's just crazy that you'd even want to be playing that way. They score goals. I mean, I thought this could be an Alex Classic. I'm going to leave the game alone because I think the value is an absolute nonsense. I mean, at 250, you can almost go Burnley double chance, Martin.
Yeah, it was painful to watch that Southampton game against Spurs. It was just like they all Harry Kane had to do was put the ball over the top. Son just kept running in and score. Every goal was like a carbon copy of the last one. You just thought that they were going to score 8 or 9 in the end. It could have got embarrassing, like that Leicester game last season. I mean, when that happened, there was a reaction from Southampton. He does seem like he's a reasonably adaptable coach, so I think he'll change it because, Burnley are going to be looking at that, and they'll sense that they can do a similar job on Southampton. They don't really have the pace up front. They've got Chris Wood, he's a bit of an old school sort of battler. I think this is going to be a pretty turgid game, to be honest. Not quite sure which way it's going to go. I think it's a difficult start to the season for Burnley as well. No new arrivals in the transfer window yet, and the squad's starting to look a bit stale. So I do expect a flurry of transfer activity from the Clarets in the weeks ahead. But I think opposing Burnley in the next few weeks is probably a good idea, but not with Southampton, with the way their confidence will be after that game. So pass.
It was nice to see Danny Ings getting a couple of goals, though, because obviously we tipped him up in the futures market for the Golden Boot at 22-1 each way, first 4. So we're happy with that. The big thing for me is Southampton being caught twice. Palace, the high line killed them. Zaha went through. Then they highlined again at home with a team that have good pace in Spurs. I think they might drop deep this time. And when you drop deep, that plays into Burnley's hands. I just think that Burnley draw no bear. I think I've just seen, someone said that. Yes, Dina said that Burnley draw no bear is probably the way to go. Barca's come back with Chelsea and both teams to score at 3:05. Yeah, but I can also see Chelsea winning to 0 as well, Barca. So, but I've gone half-time, full-time in that game. I think we're all going to have an opinion on this game. Yorkshire Derby at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United at plus 170, draw plus 245, Leeds plus 175. Now, Leeds last week, 4-3, get cruised. It was an easier 4-3. I mean, they don't look very good at the back, but in midfield, they dominate the ball, they're patient, and they're creating chances, and the belief and confidence is high. Now, they go to Bramall Lane. These boys are old masters at scrapping something. Matt, do you think Sheffield United Leeds is going to be a classic?
I wouldn't call it a classic. I think that you're right on. Flash was saying that Sheffield, they've got that witty, veteran presence to make this thing close. But it's just, for me, Sheffield haven't scored a goal yet this season. Leeds have put up 7. Leeds have spent money. Sheffield really haven't, looked like spending money. I know that they're, they've got a couple targets here and there, but I mean, Sheffield have lost 5 in a row. They look like they are headed for a really proper relegation battle here this season. And I'm happy to back Leeds at a draw no bet angle. I think that they just have a little bit more creativity, and yeah, I'm just not really liking what I'm seeing from Sheffield right now. So I do think it will be kind of cagey, but I'm happy to back Leeds on the road here at a draw no bet angle.
Okay, Leeds going away from home. It's a big Yorkshire derby. This will be the first Yorkshire derby, obviously, in the top flight that Leeds have had in a very, very long while. Are you going the Leeds angle, or do you think Sheffield United will get something out of the game line?
I'm also going the Leeds angle, Flash. Yeah, I just think momentum is going to be really important. They're just such a fit and athletic side. They came really close to getting a point against Liverpool in the opener. Very unlucky not to leave with the share of the spoils in that game. And then, they did let their guard down against Fulham in the closing stages, but they were rampant for 60, 70 minutes there. I don't think they'll have it quite as easy against Sheffield United. They're a pretty well-drilled team, but getting a little bit worried about Sheffield United, to be honest. They were the surprise package last season. Now, I don't know if everyone's found them out a bit. They might need to mix things up. Right now, they're looking a bit stale for me as well. I could be wrong, but yeah, I'm going with the momentum that Leeds got. They take risks. They play with the handbrake down. They're just they're really entertaining to watch, and I think they'll get something out of that. So the odds you can get on draw no bet, and I've got minus 106 on that. I can't see them losing this one, so that's a good bet to me.
Okay, well, H Troop has come up with a couple of classics. He's come up with Lamptey's not going to play, by the way, for Brighton. So maybe you want to just hang on and see. Maybe you just got to make sure that you see the team selections. And secondly, he's going Sheffield don't have quality up front. No, but what they do. And listen, I've gone the opposite to the two gentlemen here. I've gone with Sheffield United. Draw no bet at minus 110, just because I think that they've been round the block a few times. I think that they will get right in amongst them. It will be a horrible game. I can see both teams scoring. I can see an Alex Classic, maybe 2-1. Everything will go out the window. Leeds will play the way they play. But I think Sheffield United just going to have a little bit too much. Yeah, a little bit streetwise. I think that's the way you've got to look at it. Sheffield United, too streetwise. I think Sheffield United, draw no bet at minus 110. Now, who do you want to trust here, by the way? Because we got Spurs at minus 200, draw plus 350, and Newcastle at plus 650. I went with Newcastle last week. I knew my fate 5 minutes into the game. Steve Bruce has got to take the blame because he completely played the wrong side. Andy Carroll, listen, I'll be happy to have a foot race with him now, and I'm like 18 years older than him. He cannot run. Why would you not play Almer on one side, Fraser the other side, and Wilson? They could go and do a job here because Spurs, they're not as good as the 5-2 that they beat Southampton by. Martin, do you trust Spurs?
I do trust Spurs. Yeah, I think.
Wow.
I do. I'm trusting Spurs. I mean, you look at the form. They battered Southampton 5-2. I know they took advantage of that high line, but
they could have been 2-0 down at half time.
I know, but I think the arrival of Gareth Bale has galvanised that team. They're looking a bit.
There's that word.
Yeah, my favourite word. Yeah, they're looking a bit more. I don't know. They're just looking. They're looking. They seem a bit more positive now. Jose Mourinho really laid into them after that lackluster performance in the first week of the season, and it was a very strong reaction. 4 goals from Son. I think they'll be going there in great spirits. Yeah, no, Steve Bruce isn't a master tactician for me. They don't really have the players. Yeah, they got a win against West Ham, but West Ham's defence is terrible. I think Tottenham are better in pretty much every department. They're at home. Yeah, I'm going with Spurs. They may prove me wrong, but I got Spurs -1 Asian handicap at -120. Harry Kane, Son Heung-min, good forwards. I think they can do a number on Newcastle here.
I just don't like that weak midfield and their attitude and the defence. Matt, don't tell me you're going with Spurs as well.
No, I'm not. I'm steering clear from this one. I do think that Tottenham win the match, though. I will say that I think that they're worthy of including in an ACCA bet because Newcastle, like you said, I mean, they've started with Andy Carroll. If you see Andy Carroll in this lineup, I think you should probably. I don't think he should be. That's what I tweeted that out a few days ago. I'm waiting for Newcastle to not start Andy Carroll before I really start backing them again. So that's a wait and see for me. Bale's getting ready to come into the side. He probably won't be ready for this one. Reguilon, he's going to be ready. I really like their left back signing. So I think, and also I was seeing today that they're in talks with Skriniar from Inter Milan. That would be a humongous signing. That could maybe change some things in the top 4 race for Tottenham. But until then, I'm more than happy to pass it. Newcastle, the only way they get something from this game, they need to be organized as heck in the back line and see if they can counter Spurs with Almiron. It looks like St. Maximum will miss this match. He did get pulled out of the last one. So that's kind of where I see Martin maybe having a good play here. I think, Spurs -1. I think it's pretty safe, and I'm more than happy to include them in an ACCA.
Yeah, but Spurs -1, I think they're going to have to score 3 goals then because I think that Newcastle will score. I think Almiron will play. I think he goes with Wilson up top. I think he goes with Fraser on the other side. And if they're up for it, because it's all about the attitude of both these teams, because I saw Spurs in week 1 that were an absolute joke, a disgrace. And obviously I'm still wounded by that performance. Copy and paste, and that's what Newcastle did at home. So for me, I cannot trust either of these two sides. But obviously we're cheering on Martin now. Here's a team you can trust. Man City, plus, minus 300. I wish it was plus. Draw, plus 520. And Leicester, a massive plus 900. Scored plenty of goals last week against Burnley. Different goal scorers as well. But going to Man City, completely different, Matt. Man City, they win, but how do we get the value?
I think the value would be halftime, full-time at minus 118 is what I've found. I think that City should be too much for them. And I have looked to fade. I didn't fade them in week 1, but I'm looking to fade the Foxes any chance I really get still, because I just don't believe in them right now. I also think, though, that with no Laporte, Aguero, Bernardo Silva, I mean, City were outplayed completely in the second half by Wolves. There was the lucky, kind of deflected goal in the 94th by Jesus, but Wolves turned it on like we know that they normally do in the second half. And I just still, without Laporte, I really always struggle to back City. There's just really not a ton of value. I think that Leicester can score here as well. Both teams to score over 2.5 at minus 105 looks decent. But again, I'm passing this one. I think that City are a machine. They could cover the minus 1.52. But as you can see, I've got splinters on my butt from sitting on the fence on this one.
That's all right. I don't mind that. I mean, I've got a firm belief here that they're not going to actually go and smash Leicester all over the shop. I think they'll keep ball. I think it'll be comfortable. I can see this being 2-3-0, 3-1. So I'm going to go with the old Martin classic of Man City and under 4.5 goals at minus 110. I've already pressed the button on it, Martin.
Like it, Flash. That sounds pretty good. I think Man City can get the job done in this one. I also don't think they'll put loads of goals past them. They're a totally different team with Gabriel Jesus up front as opposed to Sergio Aguero. When you've got Aguero, he's running in behind, he creates space, he's dynamic, he scores loads of goals. Gabriel works hard, but he misses a bunch of chances and they always look a little bit blunt going forwards with him. I think, half-time, full-time also looks good. Like Matt said, about 1.91. That's minus 110 in US odds. That looks like an interesting one as well because they ran out of steam against Wolves. I think they'll have to have a good first half in this one, and they probably could be hanging on towards the end of the game. Something, like 2-1, something like that to Man City, I would envisage. So, like both of those options.
Yeah, the big thing with Man City is they're like a cat that just plays with a mouse. They get the job done. If they need to step up a gear, they've got plenty of options. And the big thing is also I expect maybe a few fresh legs to come in because they won't want to be picking up injuries. We've seen in the NFL this year because they've had no pre-season. They're all picking up injuries because this is like their pre-season, but they have to go in full whack. So for me, Man City have got to make sure that they look after their personnel. So I've gone with Man City to win the game and under 4.5 goals at minus 110. Now, remember I said to you earlier on about Burnley, Southampton. Southampton were plus 130. Now, West Ham plus 245, draw plus 230, and Wolves at plus 125. Martin, please explain to me how Wolves away at West Ham can be the same price as Southampton away at Burnley.
Is this because you're thinking that Wolves are going to beat West Ham comfortably?
Yeah, I think Wolves are great value. I really do. I think Wolves are a really good away side. I think Wolves are a good Premiership side or Premier League side, and they're going up against a West Ham side that have got really nothing to offer.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wolves are the better team here. I would go for Wolves in this one. I did my tips before the Man City Wolves game had taken place, so I didn't quite know how that was going to unfold. But yeah, I would definitely be leaning towards Wolves in this game. West Ham did surprise me a bit against Arsenal. Everyone thought they were going to get rolled over, but they did. They were in the game for large parts of it. I think they were unlucky to lose it, actually. I was surprised because David Moyes left what I consider to be their best players all on the bench. Felipe Anderson was on the bench. Sebastian Haller was on the bench. He played all their sort of like workman-like players, and they did give Arsenal a pretty good fight. But yeah, you would have to expect that on the balance of play, Wolves have better players going forward, more creativity in midfield, and just look stronger all round. So yeah, I'd be tempted to go for the Wolves away win here. I think that looks very good. Never convinced by the West Ham defence at all.
No, and that's the big thing for me. Wolves are patient. I mean, obviously, you can always go Wolves draw half time while they just they sense what happened and exploit the best way to go forward for the second half. But I think, listen, they hit Sheffield United very early on. Bang, bang, 2-0 up. Job done. I expect the same type of thing. Maybe not 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, but I think Wolves are a really good European side. And going to the City of London Stadium against a poor West Ham side, I think they get the job done. And you're getting plus money at 125. Again, don't complicate. I'm just going Wolves all the way, Matt.
Same. Yeah, and I think that, you touched on them. They were a great European side last year. They played Sevilla pretty tough in the Europa League, and they played more matches than anyone in the Premiership last season. This year, no European fixtures, so I think that they should be fresh and ready to go. Wolves, this is a play that, I believe it was a banker, and if I hadn't started off the season so poorly, this probably would be another banker where I took Wolves against West Ham just a month or 6 weeks ago or so. And why Wolves have dominated this fixture. They have an aggregate of 8-0 against West Ham in their last 4. I think that this closes at a minus price, to be honest. And David Moyes contracted COVID, and so did Diop, so he's probably not likely to feature here. He might be their best defender out of an already pretty poor back line for West Ham. So for me here, it all adds up. I don't think there's going to be any bubbles bursting really after 90 minutes there at the London Stadium. I think that Wolves are the better side. One of these days, I will be taking a halftime draw Wolves to win, but it won't be this day.
Yeah, and I like Raul Jimenez to score again. I think he's absolutely top draw. He loves to lead the line. And the way that West Ham central defenders, they mark space. And Alan Ball once said to me, have you ever seen space score a goal? And yet defenders still continue to want to mark space. And he is so clever, he'll get in between them. I'm sure that he's going to have chances. So for me, Raul Jimenez will score. But I've gone with Wolves at plus 125. Don't even bother complicating. I see Vitalis is saying that it's even money now with Bovada. So shop around. Make sure, go over to SBR Sports Picks or sportsbookreview.com. Go onto the odds page and you'll get as many books as you possibly can, and make sure you get the value. Now, Fulham plus 185, draw plus 240, and Villa at plus 550. Villa very fortunate against the 10 men of Sheffield United the other day. Sheffield United obviously missed a penalty, went down to 10 men, and still they only got beat 1-0. Can't have this game on my mind, Matt.
Yeah, it's a pass. It's. I think that if you are going to play this one, I would continue to ride the feel-good factor of Villa, probably at a draw no bet angle. I don't see Villa getting beat here. I think that you had a great play flash last week with the Fulham Leeds, both teams to score. I think that looks decent here as well. You said it last week. This is Fulham. They've got to take a look at this and say Villa are one of these teams that we can attack freely and openly and really have a go at it. Both teams to score minus 125 looks okay here too. But yeah, just not really enough for me to pull the trigger on anything.
Well, you just don't know what you're going to get, but both teams to score, don't care who wins, Martin, is probably the way to go, because Fulham, they huff and they puff. But Villa have got a little bit more Premier League pedigree, got a few better players. So, I mean, you wouldn't put anyone off Villa going there and getting the result. I mean, I've got Villa at plus 550. Is that right?
No, Villa are about plus 150.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
that must be my dodgy fingers when I'm typing.
That is a pretty good price though on Aston Villa. They did well to beat. I know they were lucky, but they did pretty well. They kept things tight at the back. They're not a bad team, really, Aston Villa. I think they'll beat the drop. I don't think they'll finish mid-table. I think they'll be
there or thereabouts.
But I think they could be in line for a 17th place finish if things carry on as they are. Not sure about Fulham at all. Yeah, they showed a bit of fight towards the end of that Leeds game, but they were already taken apart by that point by another newly promoted team. It's just not looking good for them. I know they don't want to invest any money because they were burnt last time they came up, but they just seem to lack quality for me, which I think is going to make it for a long old season. So definitely leaning towards Aston Villa, but definitely passing as well.
Okay, I've just, first of all, there's 130 watching and there's only 39 thumbs up. Please put the thumbs up, show a little bit of appreciation to both Matt and Martin and all the hard work that I put in. But I've got to bring up Dom07. I know he comes up with some absolute pearlers. If I'm not wrong, he is a Spurs fan and he says West Ham have better players if they turn up and easily win this game. West Ham have better players than Wolves? Really? I cannot think. I mean, you go man to man against every single Wolves player, they're not even close. And the attitude and the pace, I just cannot see where that is. But then someone says, Don, I agree with you. Okay, Vitella said, didn't you say, Flash, on week 1, you don't believe Fulham will win a game? No, I didn't say that. I just said that I will not be betting Fulham to win a game. I've already done Fulham and West Brom, both around the plus 100 to get relegated. So I'm certainly not going to sit here and hope that they get points. Maybe both teams to score could be the way to go with Fulham and Villa. For me, it's a pass. I'm not going to be messing about with the dregs. Not when I can go to this next game, and it is an absolute pearler. It's everything that we love in the Premier League. It's Liverpool at minus 190, draw plus 380, and Arsenal at plus 550. Martin, you are the Arsenal fan. You are a realist. I see Liverpool, I think they could be stronger. I think they're going to have a better squad because they've got players that have come back and they're going to be at it. I see them teaching Arsenal a lesson this weekend.
Ooh, interesting. Not many teams have taught Arsenal a lesson, to be honest, since Mikel Arteta took the reins. That's the main thing he's done at Arsenal. He's toughened them up and he's made them a lot more competitive against the top teams. I'm not saying Arsenal are going to beat Liverpool, but obviously they beat them towards the end of last season. It finished 1-1 in the Community Shield and they got the job done on penalties. I think since then, Liverpool have improved significantly. They'll be buoyed by the Thiago signing, and I think they were looking very sharp. I do want to see the lineups because, if Rob Holding plays, I think Arsenal are in trouble. He's got the pace of an articulated lorry, so I think they'll bring in a few changes. Saka's playing tonight. They're playing right now, so I don't think Saka will play again. I think they'll bring in Maitland-Niles. I think they'll go a lot tighter at the back. There are chances for Arsenal. They'll have to really exploit whoever plays next to Van Dijk. I don't know if it's going to be Fabinho again. They'll have to try and get in behind Andy Robertson because that's one good way of getting against Liverpool. I think they will have chances and I think they can take one. Could see it maybe being a draw or maybe Liverpool winning, but both teams to score. So I can't see Arsenal winning actually. But
no, I was going to say the same thing. I think that the midfield is a complete mismatch, and then you look at the Arsenal defence. I mean, if there's no Tierney again, I mean they're very, very sloppy on that left side of defence.
Tierney, it was only a slight knock apparently, so Tierney should be fit to come back in apparently. If you put him and Maitland-Niles down there, I think we'll be a lot stronger. Hopefully Rob Holding will come out now. I think it will be a better team. Danny Ceballos and Granit Xhaka, they're not the world's worst players. Come on, I mean,
but they're not going to go to Anfield and dominate the game. I mean, and the good thing is
they did. They dominated the full midfield like a couple of months ago.
Liverpool, when Liverpool went to sleep, I mean, someone even in the chat said the same. Liverpool went to sleep. They'd already won the title. They'd already took their foot off. I think if Liverpool are at this game, I mean, I've got a great bet. And I love this. And this is going to be my banker. This is going to be my absolute banker. And it's Liverpool to win the game and over 2.5 goals. I see this being maybe 3-1. And if Arsenal chase it, we could see a 4-1, 4-2. So I wouldn't even put anyone off the Liverpool -1, Matt.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I think that this really is, like Martin touched on a little bit, a lineup checker. I'm a Liverpool fan. Martin's an Arsenal fan, so we're going toe-to-toe here. That's very fun and interesting. But I think just because this is a great match doesn't mean that you have to have a wager on it per se. But it is tricky. I mean, I want to see if Thiago is playing. I do expect Fabinho to be fit and playing at the center half role which I don't think is a negative really. I think that he's a decent passer out of the back, and he's already, you know, kind of one of those rugged holding midfielders anyways. I want to see, if I'm back in Arsenal here, I've got to see Tierney. I need Tierney in this lineup, like you touched on. He's class for me, and he shut down Mohamed Salah both occasions.
But Matt, we've got to mention this, because if people are waiting for the lineup, Arsenal are only going to get bigger prices because Liverpool are going to shrink. There's nothing that's going to happen in the selection. If you're going into this game now on a Wednesday and thinking, I want to be with Liverpool, if you want to be with Liverpool, you bet them now, because there's no chance on this earth that Liverpool are going to get a better price. The only thing that's going to happen is, if you're an Arsenal bettor, you wait, because then it might give you a little bit more confidence. It's a massive test for Arsenal for me. I think they struggle in midfield. Do I think they score? Yeah, I do. I can see it's been a 4-2 or something mad. That's why I've gone over 2.5 goals and Liverpool winning.
Yeah, it's just a really tough one for me. It's just not something I really want to get involved with. Let's see how the weekend plays out. I might send something out on Twitter, but yeah, it's just, there's a lot of unknowns here. Arteta, the one thing, I mean, this match was really cagey last year. The Liverpool-Chelsea match in the first half was cagey as ever. So we sort of got lucky to even see two there with the red card in a sense. Both teams should have scored, though, again, and that would have been the 6th straight time in a Liverpool match that both teams would score. So I think Arsenal have the firepower to score here. This is a tactical battle. I wonder if Jurgen brings out Thiago fresh. There's just so many unknowns here. So I'm going to pass this match, but I'll be rooting on the Reds here for sure.
Okay, a little bit of housekeeping before we go on to the selections. I know that Andrew Solomon and a couple of the others are asking about, first of all, Bayern and Sevilla in the Super Cup. I think that's definitely a lineup check. Have a good look. But Bayern, for me, as I've said to you, I think they could be the best European side we've seen in the last 25 years. Also, you're saying about the 8-team parlay. It's very confusing. But remember, at the end of the show, I say the 2-team parlay we're going to put through. So we're going to tell you 2 teams at the end of the show. Okay, I fancy one of them's going to definitely be Chelsea, and a way of getting a bit of value. But yes, I will try and be slower and tell you and emphasize. But let's look at this week's selections from the boys, please, Fabian. Okay, we're going to start off with Martin. It's going to be Leeds, draw no bet at -105. Palace, Everton, both teams to score at -105. Chelsea and over 1.5 at -161. I'm going to write that down because I fancy that's probably the way we go in the parlay. Spurs, -1.5 Asian handicap at -120. And Liverpool and Arsenal, both teams to score at -140. Max just gone with the 3. Leeds, draw no bet, -105. Man United, -121. And Wolves to win at +125. Now, I've gone with Sheffield United, draw no bet at -110. Chelsea, half-time, full-time, +100. Wolves at +125. Liverpool and over 2.5 goals at +100. And Man City to win and under 4.5 goals at -110. And the Liverpool game is my banker. I'm definitely having 2 units on Liverpool there. Now, is there a banker for you, Martin?
Yeah, can I just say, can I go on Wolves as well? I like Wolves. I want to get on Wolves.
Okay, but the thing is that, are you going to drop out one of your selections?
No.
But when we said 5 maximum, what, you want 6 this week?
Yeah.
Well, no.
And also, it was Spurs -1 Asian handicap, not -1.5.
Yeah, well, if I was you, and no one's watching, no one's listening, I'd get rid of that Spurs -1.5 bet anyway and put Wolves in. Okay, no, listen, just for this week. Okay, if you want to have 6, you have 6, all right? No problem at all. You get the graphics. So we are going to do that. So I'll slow down here, okay? Martin is adding Wolves +125 to win at West Ham. Okay, now the 2-team parlay from the Premier League. I'm going to put forward Chelsea to win and over 1.5 at, is that 1.61 or -161? It's -161, yeah? Now, can you come to you first, Martin? Have you got one that you'd like to put forward?
I do like that one. You're not going to like it though. I think Spurs will get the better of.
No, okay, Matt.
So mine here, actually, I mean, what, you're just asking for the two-teamer or the
Well,
banker?
yeah, no, only one now because I'm already putting in Chelsea to win and over 1.5 goals. So that's definitely going forward.
I would say Wolves, but I want to say, just touch on real quick. If I get the lineup that I'm predicting in United, I think that's going to close at minus 150-ish range. I think that price is going to go up. Brighton have really struggled against the top four. I mean, they have not beaten a team in the top four the last 9 times they've played. They've drawn against Chelsea 1 time. They've collected 1 point against the top four and been dominated on the goal differential. No Basuma as well. So that's just my little 2 cents there. I do like United, but I think Wolves is for a value parlay. I think that looks pretty nice.
Yeah,
too.
but it's not. Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but what about Man City? And over 1.5? Though we want us all to be in agreement. What do we think in the chat, by the way, boys? Because we are in this together. Last week we got the 2-team parlay. I think it pays like 175. So we got Chelsea and over 1.5 at minus 161. In the chat, what are they saying? Have you got another one, Martin?
Yeah, I quite like Man City to beat Leicester and over 1.5 goals. It was good.
Okay. Have we got a price on that, please?
I can find you a price.
That'd be great. Man City and over 1.5 is
drum roll.
It's
1.44.
Okay, so what's that? Minus 225, yeah? Is that right? Minus 250?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll stick that forward. We're going to go with that. We're going to go Chelsea to win and over 1.5, Man City to win and over 1.5 as well. So that's the 2-team parlay for the Premier League. And obviously that will go forward to tomorrow's shows with Serie A and Bundesliga with Tan and Alex. Now, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button and ring the bell. Ring the bell means that we will notify you. You'll never miss any content again. And there's a lot of content that you do not want to miss. And remember to press the link in the description. That will take you over to an article that these boys have put pen to paper. Well, they've just been pressing buttons. But listen, there's parlays in there. There's bankers in there. And make sure you join us tomorrow morning. I think it's 9:30 Eastern time. We go back to back with Serie A and Bundesliga with the 2 madmen from Europe. Matt, good luck this weekend. So there's no banker for you. Martin, have you got a banker?
Chelsea.
I know, because you are going to go with Chelsea, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that. No, that's okay. I'll do all the paperwork. You've got
I'm just saying, don't let me down, Chelsea. I can't believe I actually want Tottenham and Chelsea to win.
I cannot believe you've gone with Spurs. I mean, listen, I might have egg on my face. And by the way, everyone in
either they win and my bets pay off, or they lose because they've lost. So.
Yeah, well, I won't bring it up now. Listen, I am quite concerned before I say goodbye to everyone in the chat. Love the input, but can we please send a little search party out for Anisha? He had so much to say last week, and we're not seeing him. We're missing him. So I look forward to tomorrow's show. Matt, thank you very much. Martin, good luck, mate. I'll see you on Friday when we go for La Liga. It was a good week last week in La Liga. Yeah. Everyone in the chat, enjoy the Premier League this week, and we'll see you again tomorrow. You take care.
Thanks, guys.